Audio commentary.
I guess I'm just still trying to get beyond Thunderdome. Woo!
Welcome to the second audio commentary of the 15th anniversary of Noah Antwiler. This is Stryker of Enyo, and we are going to be covering two videos in this particular commentary. The How to Find Noah Antwiler videos today, and then also we are going to go through the top 5 Counter Monkey episodes. So both of those videos. In the third audio commentary, we will cover all the trailers / music videos / tribute videos that I did for this particular celebration. But yes, in this one, we're just going to cover these two videos.
All right, now that's not fair. I can't top that. I mean, I'm good, but I'm not that good. What else is there to say but...
And even though between these two videos we are actually going to have a lot of time to cover a lot of different topics, I need to get a few things out of the way first because, well, we're going to end up hitting the ground running on that first video, so just give me a couple of minutes to explain it, and then we'll jump right into that first video.
Yeah, you're that Mr. Spoon guy, right?
Yeah, award-winning critic, the Spoony one, yeah.
Did you?
Who the fuck are you?
So in my audio commentary of the top 25 videos of Noah Antwiler, I was supposed to tell you that I had originally planned to have both of these additional segments, the How to Find Noah Antwiler videos, and it was going to be the top 4 Counter Monkey episodes. Like, those two segments were supposed to be in the main video. They were supposed to... The top 5 Counter Monkey episodes, well, I mean, it was top 4 at the time. You know, that was supposed to be like a thing that I was going to insert just before number 1. You know, so like instead of having honorable mentions, it was going to be, well, it was still going to be honorable mentions. And then here's the top 4 Counter Monkey episodes. And I was going to spend like maybe 1 minute on each episode itself. And so that was going to be like a 4-minute segment. And then I wanted to make a video on how to find Noah Antwiler videos, but that was actually going to be after the end credit sequence in the main video. So after, you know, the Little Richard music video thing, then this video was going to pop up after that. And it was supposed to be around, you know, maybe 4 minutes in itself. You know, it was supposed to be something that was very quick. But yeah, once the main video was done and I was happy with the quality of it, I knew I needed these 2 other videos to be as good of quality. So I actually threw out the audio that I originally recorded for these 2 videos, the How to Find Noah Antwiler videos today and the 5 best Counter Monkey episodes. I actually threw out, not necessarily threw out the script, but I basically went back to it and I rewrote the script for both of these because I was so happy with the quality of my top 25 videos of Noah Antwiler because, you know, I took a long time. I took months and months, you know, of editing and scripting, that I knew that these other 2 additional videos needed to be a little tighter. It needed to be a little more concise. I went back, I found a lot more images for the websites and whatnot to make it a fuller experience. So, hey, let's jump into the video and see how it all turned out.
Eagle Command! Calling Eagle Command! This is Marmoset 1 requesting immediate evac from deep behind enemy lines for myself and 100 other refugees that you have no interest in rescuing. Oh, and by the way, the members of my squad that you murdered demand justice, and I swear to God, as soon as I get back, I'm gonna write every one of their goddamn names on the wall with your severed dick! So, what's your ETA, over?
This is... Yeah, I wanted to have a little bit different of an intro for these other 2 side videos. You know, something that was a little funny. So I had, you know, Spoony coming into his room, looking up and then seeing my picture on his bed, you know, instead of the Guardian's portal. So I thought that was kind of funny. Where do I find that video? And then I did the Spoony version of Chef Ramsay, you know, saying who the F is that guy or whatever for the other video. You know, something that was, you know, a little maybe iconic that, you know, people would be like, you know, within 2 seconds you would instantly know which video, you know, that you started to watch. Now, we got a lot of time to talk when it comes to the second video. This first video is only 20 minutes, and there's a lot of details, and I got several topics to go over. But by the time we get to that second video, we're going to have some time to just hang out, you know, unscripted. So look forward to that. Yeah, I was actually making this massive video list that I kind of wanted to have done and ready for you guys, you know, in a uneditable Excel document, and there was just too much to do. As you can see, those are like the last live wires that he did. The Death Stranding one was the last one that he published, and I had the time, not the time codes, but I had the length of the video, I had the release date I was working on, what format, you know, like 480p or 360p, and I had like what type of video it was, whether it was a crossover or a review or a vlog. So I was putting that in for all the videos, but you know, as I was going through them, I realized that I was still missing some stuff. And, you know, granted, that list that you saw, you know, it showed it being on entry, what was it, 1015? You know, I had obviously several blank spaces in between stuff where I wasn't quite sure, but I mean, easily if I added those 500 videos from the Justin TV, you know, that would still, you know, easily go over 1,000. And there's other stuff that I was missing too. I was missing like the Death Clock campaign. I mean, I talked about that being what, 78 hours. Way of the Future was something that I did in one of my Metal Gear Solid videos. I ended on just saying that phrase over and over again, but this time I actually used video. I didn't get dinged for it though, so. But yeah, originally both of these additional segments were going to be about 4 minutes each, but that would add 8 minutes total to the video. So I separated them very early on. Like only after about a month of scripting I came to this conclusion. So I did it really early.
But always uploaded content to his website as well. He then switched over to other websites for several years before coming back to YouTube. There is another channel.
Hang on, I got my I got a monster drink here. I know. Stryker, no. Don't do it.
The icon reflects this distinction.
Like, Stryker, why do you need to crack a Monster energy drink or, you know, Bang energy drink open every time you do a commentary? And it's like, it's my thing. You know, I would never do it in an episode itself. But yeah, I usually take an energy drink when I do Rage Quit. You know, because I end up usually doing about 2. Well, I record for an hour, right? But now I've noticed I need to maybe cut that down to more like 40 minutes. Because when I record a Rage Quit for an hour, I end up with about like 20 minutes of footage that I think is funny to use. And it really needs to be more like 10. Or maybe, you know, maybe 15 to 16 minutes of footage that I deem is, you know, funny. But anyway, so yeah, I recorded audio for all 3 videos at the same time. You know, these 2 side videos and the main one, I did it all at the same time. And once my main video was done and I was happy with the quality of it, and I released it, I knew that these other 2 side videos needed to also be of, you know, relatively the same quality. So I threw out the audio and I went back to the script. I completely, you know, redid the 5 Counter Monkey episodes because that originally was only going to be like a minute or 2. No, it was only, yeah, I think it was still originally at only like a minute of me talking for each one, and like that was it. So ultimately that expanded into a 46-minute video. And then this one I threw out for the How to Find Noah Antwiler videos today. I added a bit more info. I reworded the intro and the outro. I made sure that I mentioned the other videos in the series that I'm doing, even the trailers and the future audio commentaries. The 5, here I am, you know, actually showing the list view on how to find it. And I think it seems like it's, you know, but like, look at this. Like, this is actually a pretty nice little setup. You got a release date, you've got the original YouTube description, you know, and the name of the video. And I always thought that was actually, you know, kind of a nice way of looking at it. instead of seeing all the little squares, you know, of videos on screen. So yeah, I think the list view is a nice way of looking at that. Let's see, this is the, hang on, Spoony Experiment Archive, is that what this is? Yeah, this is the one where the guy, see, he actually has a little list of reasons why it's hard to find Spoony videos, and that's what I basically based my list on. But ultimately, I ended up changing the wording quite a bit, and even though he might have the same overall idea, I was trying to make them into you know, short little phrases, you know, to have them be like a title. So that's what you end up seeing at the end. But that's where it started from. We'll talk more about that list at the end of the video. 523 video streams that were like this here. Like I mostly got myself more. I got more images of the individual archives of Chorus. I tried to get as many thumbnails for the different playlists. I tried to get those as well. Uploaded 13 videos consisting of the Pathfinder stream, which included early testing and like the Pathfinder. I don't think I mentioned individually, so I went back and added that to my script. Of 20-minute videos and even 2-hour-long videos. And this is, you know, I just wanted to make the point that, you know, yeah, in the stream. I mean, no, this is YouTube. Yeah, this is YouTube. But yeah, for that guy, you know, even though a lot of them are 20 minutes long, it almost makes you think that maybe 20 minutes was the limit on Justin TV or something at the time. But there's also several videos that are 2 hours long, so it's like you're going to be there a while, you know, looking at those videos. It's not like they're just all a group of 20-minute videos, and there's some that are even like 6 minutes or 3 minutes. Like when it comes to a test, like I added this too, having this this big collage of what is this? This is playlists. Yeah, from this specific guy, because that was the main thing about this guy was having all these different playlists that he compiled together, and I actually left a message for this guy. And he ended up getting back to me. This wasn't his main video, or it wasn't his main channel. So he said sorry about that, but he did actually thank me for mentioning him. And I'm like, man, you put in the time. So you know, I told him it's like I don't get necessarily a whole lot of views, but I mean, hey, you did the work. I gave you credit. In chronological order for the most part. The re-uploads, yeah, that's the big site. You know, you might not necessarily videos have been re-uploaded as a single large video as well. He might not necessarily have all the videos there himself, and he links to other places. But it's like, you know, aside from, you know, someone deciding to, you know, re-upload all of the videos themselves, you know, this is the closest next best thing. And yeah, he's got the visible inventory, which, you know, only actually is in the first handful of episodes. Spoony seemed to ended up cutting that out himself. I'm looking at trying to look at my notes here. I recorded all 3 of them. So drop by and thank this fan for all their hard work. You could argue that maybe it's missing a few things, but honestly, it's easily the most common. I had this plan, you know, to link all 3 videos, you know, and I started that, you know, self-promoting myself. Once I knew they were all going to be, you know, separate videos as well, I realized that I had to be the one to promote them. You know, I saw that with my top 20 beginner tips Ultimate Edition for Metal Gear Solid 5, that people really liked it, and they were thanking me. But I had to respond to each one of them to make sure for them to check out the follow-up video, the top 20 advanced tips, Ultimate Edition. You know, yeah, I mean, I would put the top 20 advanced tips video in the end card, and I tried to make it big, but it seemed like a lot of people, you know, that liked the earlier video were not seeing the newer video. So I knew that if I was going to release a follow-up content to a particular video, And if I happened to know I was going to do it ahead of time, I really needed to mention it in the video itself. You know, I actually made the thumbnails for all 3 of these main videos on the same day, so I could swap them out and use them in each of the videos. And then obviously that grew to the trailers. You know, each of the trailers had its own thumbnail image, and I would put those in there. And then I also started to, as I was getting toward the end, I knew I was going to make at least 2 audio commentaries, and that expanded to 3, and then ultimately it was going to be 4. But at least I put in there that, you know, hey, check this playlist of, you know, the 15th anniversary of Spoony, because that's where I'm going to put these additional audio commentaries. And I think I even at the time I said that, you know, it's at least going to be 2. Yeah, like the Death Clock campaign, you know, that's 49 videos. And the problem is that, you know, yeah, I could that would easily fill in a lot of gaps that I had, you know, with my Spoony video list, right? But it's like, well, how do I compile release dates for all these videos, you know? I mean, sometimes they have them and sometimes they don't.
These are the best locations for finding content from Spoony. I hope you find a new series.
But yeah, I've had, this video is actually doing quite well. It's actually with exactly, okay, that was me showing the video quality. Like when I was comparing these videos, I was trying to figure out like, well, which version of the video am I going to use for the review? So I would put them all side by side. I'd look at their bit rate, I'd look at the quality of the image, the colors of the image, and that's how I would decide which video I was ultimately going to use to put in for my top 25 videos. You know, I wanted to use the best quality footage out there that I had, so that's how I would do it. I would put them all side by side, and sometimes I might have to zoom in to kind of see the pixel depth, but not necessarily always.
Keeping the highest quality versions at one place for us to easily find. Here are the main reasons why.
I knew that if I was going to release follow-up content to a particular video, I needed to, you know, I needed to be able to cross-promote it, essentially. And well, what I was saying is that the top 25 videos of Noah Antwiler currently is sitting at about 1,300 views. And this one, the How to Find Noah Antwiler videos today, is sitting at about 900 views. So it's actually kind of keeping pace. So as soon as people are watching the top 25 videos of Noah Antwiler, you know, a lot of them are checking out this video. Is it because it's only 20 minutes long? Maybe, you know, if I would have made the top 5 Counter Monkey episodes, if I would have made that 20 minutes instead of 46, I don't know. But let's take a look. We can cover that later. So yeah, the guy for the Spoony Experiment Archive, the one from the Internet Archive .org, you know, he's the one that came up with the list on. It wasn't necessarily really concrete, but he was the one that kind of gave me the idea of having a list on why Spoony's content is hard to find. But you know, I made these more succinct titles. I kind of ordered them in order of importance. Like he didn't, as you know, you won't find this exact wording on his little section of the list that he made. You know, he just kind of numbered 2 little things, and I kind of tried to condense it into, you know, a short title like the Spoony Experiment website shuts down. And his list was 3 entries, and I did 4. And I pretty much, you know, took everything that I had been learning about, you know, looking for these videos, and
then Spoony came back to YouTube in May of 2012, and he did
I've been taking everything that I've been looking up these videos and all my, you know, all my expertise in trying to find these videos myself, and kind of boiled it down into, you know, these top 4 things as well. So I do give credit for that one guy inspiring me to start a list like this, but I kind of, you know, edited it a bit and made it my own.
that he's the one that gave me the idea. And originally, when this was only going to be like a 4-minute segment, there was no way I could add this section of, you know, well, why is Spoony's content so hard to find? I mean, a lot of us know why, you know, but this is also a list for people that are brand new to Spoony. I like this sentiment when you realize that he did this. Was it 2010? My gosh. You know, I was trying to be very careful with using this footage out of context. I didn't want it to make it seem like, you know, like I was taking a jab at Spoony or, you know, making fun of him. That video there you saw when I talk about would you like to know more? That is actually directly from the movie of Starship Troopers. It's not just a similar like you know, thing that I designed or similar colors. Like it literally is the video footage. I just did frame by frame. I cropped out, you know, the original footage behind it, so you can't even see it. But I kind of like that. And this is the only video that actually has the full-length version of me showing off my wish lists. You know, yeah, at first I thought, you know, there's no way, because it's like, you know what, some people when they have a sponsor, okay, they have a sponsored segment, it's up early, you know, within the first couple of minutes of their video. It's about a minute long, and then it stops, and then it goes away. But for Stryker, you know, I had to have like a 3-minute segment, you know, kind of showing, you know, almost step by step how you do it. And I know that, well, a lot of people don't necessarily need that. Like, you know, you guys are pretty smart. You know how a wish list works. And actually, somebody did buy Baldur's Gate, those 2 games, and Neverwinter Nights, because it actually went on sale for $10 a piece. And I guess I had a generous fan that actually got both of those for me. So, and I was telling him, you know, it's like, hey, you know, this isn't necessarily a type of game that I would do for Rage Quit. You know, so I might not be able to make a video on it, but I do appreciate it quite a bit. This was, you know, a game that I wanted to eventually play. But you know, I think in one way it's okay, because I do put it at the end of a video. You know, not everybody is going to see this. You can skip past it if you want. And the other thing was, you know, like I said, I really did mull this over quite a bit. And I'm like, do I really need this? Let me just cut it out. And ultimately, I had to realize that it's not about me and what I think of. You know, this is for, you know, the fans or the subscribers that want to give back in some way. Because there came a point when I had at least a couple of people that wanted to, you know, donate $5 for a coffee. And, you know, they were asking for a way to do that. And I didn't have a Patreon set up. I didn't have even a donation button or anything like that. So I was kind of, you know, I was trying to tell people that, you know, I don't really have a way for you to, you know, donate toward me. And ultimately I realized, you know what, if somebody wants to donate something, it's going to be a very small percentage of them. But it's like, you know what, it makes them feel good. They feel like they're contributing to you, you know, by giving you, you know, a $5 coffee or a $5 game. So it's like, who am I to deny them, you know, the right to be able to do that? You know, if for the people that want to donate in some way, it's like, hey, you know, save up a couple of dollars and you can get me a $5 game, you know, or something that's maybe even more that's on my wish list. I never expect anyone to spend more than $5, but so that's where that came out of. It came out of, you know, not necessarily what I wanted, but it's like, you know, I really should. This is literally the only way that the fans can donate to me in some way is by, you know, buying something on my wish list. And honest, you know, if you look at the GOG store, there's a lot of stuff that's under $5. So I figured, you know, let me do that. And I'm not going to say that I have had a flood of people that have been instantly buying up the cheap games on my wish list, but you know, every once in a while, I have someone that'll get me a game or two, and you know, it makes them feel like they are contributing to the show, You know, and that I think that is a more powerful thing than just denying people like, no, I don't want to take any money from you. And so that's what I ended up doing with that. But we have reached the end of the video. So we have plenty. Did I forget anything? I mentioned the Starship Troopers. The one thing about when I was talking about YouTube removing certain videos of Spoonies, I meant to say that I meant to use the word blocked. YouTube doesn't really remove your videos, or maybe there was a time when they did, but much more recently, they actually can be blocked in all countries is typically what they will do, so that subscribers can't see them. Even if you do a search specifically for a video, or if even the creator shares a direct link to the video, they can't access it. The videos are still there, and the creator can see them, but others can't access them. It's possible they changed several of his videos to not being able to be monetized, you know, where you could still find and watch them, but maybe Spoony wanted to put up a later version of that video that he could monetize. So I'm not exactly sure, you know, about the details about how Spoony would remove videos, but yeah, that might have been it. Some might have got blocked in all countries, and maybe there was, you know, some that got demonetized, but then he wanted to later put up a monetized version, but he just never got around to it. So that's a possibility why some videos don't show up, because I believe, what was it? Final Fantasy, it was Final Fantasy 13 review, where I believe it seemed like he started to re-upload some of the segments, but it seems like part 1 and part 2 did get re-uploaded a second time, but then they got removed. But, you know, we don't know the full story on a lot of this stuff, so that's what I made the video for. But hey, on to the next audio commentary.
It's Monkey! How do you not get this?
Kimon?
It's Monkey! Monkey! You vapid whores!
Monkey!
Ah!
Warriors have a motto.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Sharp swords settle scores.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, that wasn't necessarily the, you know, the most well-known quote, obviously, from Spoony, but I had to start with something, right? And that was kind of funny. I did like this this other intro where, you know, the Chef Ramsay Spoony, you know, says like, "Who the F is that?" And then it cuts to an image of me. You know, it goes by pretty quick. The little Spoonies at the bottom, that's a reused animation from one of the other ones. I always wanted to have another version where I actually thought about doing it for the audio commentary, where, you know, all the little Spoonies would pop up, and then I'd say, what are you guys doing here? Get out of here. And then they would all like scatter. And I could easily do that, and I could easily still do it now, but you know, I've recorded these audio commentaries several times. I just kind of wanted to get them out there, but I did think of that, you know, because it's like, I'm the one that created the little Spoonies. I could just as easily, you know, reanimate them into doing something else. But you know, it's for an audio commentary, you know, not such a big deal. But no, this should be a fun time. I only have a few topics to cover for this video. But I do like that I have my website, you know, pop up, or my channel picture, and it's like, hey, self-promotion is coming, but you know, you're safe for now. I like doing that. Maybe I really should do self-promotion actually in the first part of the video. I know, but it is what it is. But like I was saying, we're gonna have a fun time. You know, I only have a few topics to cover, but we get to talk for 46 minutes total, so we have some time to just hang out, you know, unscripted, untethered, uncircumcised. No, wait, though, that doesn't apply. Sorry, I got carried away. Off the radar, off the reservation. There, that's more like it. So look forward to that. This is the honorable mentions I had to put in there, because obviously I'm not doing a top 10, and it would just, you know, I wanted to just do like a top 5, you know, or ultimately, you know, this became of, you know, the top 4 I was going to do, and I thought, top 5's good enough. Because, you know, each one of these is fun and informative, and, you know, trying to rate the Counter Monkey episodes. You know, Counter Monkey was never about, you know, one-upping each other. But yes, as many have said, the good stories are kind of in the beginning, or some of the best stories. Yeah, it took me a little while to get that done right, the zoom in and the white out. But I thought, you know, that was kind of a fun way of starting the video, right?
Rules that I think every Dungeons and Dragons dungeon master develops
Oh.
over the course of a life.
Oh yeah. Yes, I'm going with Monster because, well, that's what I had in my fridge. I have stated emphatically before that I try to stay away from the energy drinks that have the additional sugar because, you know, it's like what, like 60? No, it's like 65 grams of sugar along with it. It's like, you know, I'll probably end up having a Mountain Dew at some point later in the day, and it's like I can get my sugar from that. I don't need to have it in my energy drink as well. I'm looking. I do have a couple of topics that I didn't get to in the last one. You know, as you can see, like, you know, I have, you know, Spoony talking quite a bit. Originally, it was just going to be pretty much, you know, me talking for a minute on each of them, you know, back when this was only going to be, you know, the top 4 Counter Monkey episodes. And then I think I did a little bit longer version. I did a version that was a couple of minutes a piece because I was thinking, like, this is going to be about 10 minutes long, right? You know, give or take. So I had 2 minutes of me talking, and ultimately I didn't think I was going to use Spoony talking too much. I think only for maybe the emphasis on a couple of things. But ultimately I went with this version where, you know, Spoony is actually talking quite a bit. And you could argue that this didn't need to be 46 minutes long, but quite honestly, for those of us that have been starving for Spoony content, I mean, now I showed you a video where you could find like the Death Clock campaign and the huge archive of Justin TV videos. Like, hopefully that will give you some additional content to watch where Spoony was, you know, on top of the world still. You know, he was still in his prime, essentially. You know, from 2010 to 2013. But, so I figured, you know, I'd put in more footage of Spoony. In hindsight, this does kind of drag on, but, you know, this is kind of for new people to Spoony. You know, new people that have no idea who Spoony is. You know, this gives them a good shot of Spoony, and it has me come in and narrate a couple of other things, so I hope that actually helps out. You know, to me, after in hindsight, this does seem like a kind of a boring video. And but you know, it is what it is. I thought having Spoony talking for several minutes at a time would be okay when it came to this video. Let's see. Do I need to? I need to use the other stuff first. Which one was it? Sorry, I'm looking over my recorded all the video. I saw the results early for my videos. The top 25 videos of Noah Antwiler had 600 views after 2 weeks. My How to Find Noah Antwiler videos today, it got 100 videos. It got 100 views that first day, and then 60 on the next, and then 60 after that. And it had 300 views in the first 4 days. So, like, that's pretty good for me. I know. You know, those are low numbers for bigger channels, obviously. But they're good for me. Normally, when I put out a Rage Quit or a How the F Did I Die, I get, like, maybe 30, 40 views, you know, in a day. If it's something that's a little special, or if it's something that was, like, a big project, I could get 60 or 80 views in a day. But a lot of those videos will top off at like 400 or 800 views, and then that's it. But, like my top, it takes me a while to get views. You know, like my top 20 advanced tips, it's sitting at just under 60,000 views, and that's after 1 year. You know, my stuff can get thousands of views, but it takes like a year or more to really build up. You know, it takes several months, and then hopefully Well, I mean, you know, YouTube kind of recognizes my channel as being something that creates videos for Metal Gear Solid 5. So if I release a video on Metal Gear Solid 5, you know, it kind of finds its way, you know, into other feeds and whatnot. So YouTube seems to help me out with that. But if it's not Metal Gear Solid 5, they don't seem to help too much. And that's just how it works. Let's see. I originally said in the videos that both of these additional videos were available. You know, the two side videos in my top 25 videos of Noah Antwiler. I said that they should be showing up at the end card right now. I said that because I really did think that I could have both of them done within a week. And but that was kind of before I decided to kind of rewrite some of the script for them. And but I really did think that I could put out these two side videos, you know, while the main video still had, you know, maybe 300 or 400 views on it. You know, so, but my thought was that only those that saw it that first week or two, you know, would see it when it wasn't available. I think I mentioned before that I did have like one or two people, at least two, that were saying like I can't find the 5 Counter Monkey episodes. I can't find that other video. Is it unlisted, or is it, you know, is it on a different, you know, playlist? And I'm like, no, it's not done because I decided to, you know, redo it and make it a little bit better quality. But I really did think that I could get them out within a week, and but it ended up being 3 weeks. You know, so. But you know, it's done, it's out. But that's why I said I didn't want to say like, you know, you can check for these other two new videos. You know, when they're ready, they'll be in the end card. And it's like I wanted to say that they're available so that people would start to look for them. Because if I said, I worried that if I said that, well, you know, these videos might be available, you know, so check here, you know, or check on my site. Like I didn't want to tell people that, because I kind of figured that they would never do it. So if I said that it was there and it was ready, and, you know, hopefully I kind of figured if I got it out within that first week that only, you know, maybe 200 or 300 people would have watched the video. So a large majority is ultimately going to have access to all the videos, you know, once they're done. But that's what it was. I didn't want to say they'll show up, you know, when available, because I thought most people would just not bother to look for them, you know, assuming that they wouldn't be ready, you know, so soon after being released. But I hope you see now why this took an extra 3 weeks to finish them both. The How to Find Noah Antwiler videos today, you know, that was 20 minutes. And it took me 2 weeks to put that one together, but I was still working on the Counter Monkey episode 1 in the background. And the 5 best Counter Monkey episodes, you know, that ended up being 46 minutes. So instead of it just being a couple of, you know, 8 to 10 minute videos a piece, you know, they got expanded upon. You know, I doubled the length of the How to Find Noah Antwiler videos too. But yeah, it took me 2 weeks to put out How to Find Noah Antwiler videos, and then it took an extra week to finally put out the 5 best Counter Monkey episodes. So that wasn't, you know, that wasn't too bad, right? And, you know, but I expanded the videos themselves. I added some more research to it, more images, background music that I never envisioned using before, like in this one. I even had time to insert some random funny moments of Spoony from other videos. You know, something I never would have had the time to do before if I had them in their original 4-minute versions, of course. So, you know, like I said, you could argue that 46 minutes might be a bit too much, but, you know, once I added Spoony's narration on top of mine, it kind of became a nice little recap of each episode. You know, I mean, believe me, you know, one of these episodes is like the Shadowrun? Shadowgate? No, Shadowrun. Yeah, the Shadowrun episode is like an hour and a half. You know, it's like an hour and 36 minutes long. So I'm trying to recap that entire video in the span of like 6 or 7 minutes. So, you know, it's not like anybody else was doing positive videos on Spoony. So you know, why not give you some worthwhile content? You know, like this is a great recap instead of having to watch, you know, the entire video yourself. Like obviously the #1 spot, the thieves world, you know, that's part 1 and part 2. That's about 2 hours of content, I believe, for both of those episodes. So like this is a nice little recap. You know, you can see my summary in the matter of a few minutes, and you don't have to watch, you know, the 2-hour original version. So hopefully, you know, I don't expect this to get the kind of numbers that the other 2 videos do, but I believe it has its place. So let's see, we're gonna have fun, blah blah blah. This is the last audio commentary that I am actually recording. There's 2 more that are gonna be released. I repeated a few topics in this commentary before. It was basically like a 5 to 7 minute segment of me repeating what ultimately I was also going to bring up in audio commentary #2. So that's why I decided to redo this one, you know, again. So for the top 25 videos of Noah Antwiler, I recorded that one a total of 6 times. This particular one, it didn't need to be redone as much. I originally had these 2 side videos and the trailer video. I redid those a total of 3 times. So I recorded a total of 3 times. So, you know, I ended up throwing out 2 different versions. But yeah, once I realized that I repeated a couple of topics, and I wasn't quite happy with the way, you know, things kind of were in this one. So this should be a keeper. The other ones are locked down. It only took, you know, 6 times. And you might be wondering, like, well, Stryker, why do you need to do an audio commentary 6 times? I mean, most people like Spoony or maybe Linkara, they start the video, they start talking about the video right away. They don't do a 3-minute introduction to an audio commentary, and then when the video ends, I mean, it ends. You know, they maybe they got sidetracked on a particular topic or 2, but it's like, you know, that's how it happens. If they didn't get to talk about the main video too much, I mean, tough luck. They move on. And, you know, that could be true. I mean, you know, even though Angry Joe is popular, he doesn't really do audio commentaries. I don't think he has ever done one. But I always liked hearing audio commentaries, and I understand that, you know, maybe you don't do audio commentaries until your content, you know, is popular, but it's like, you know, 25 or, you know, 40,000 views for an audio commentary. I think that's actually pretty good. So, you know, I like to do audio commentaries. I like to, you know, give back to the people that watch my stuff, you know, give them a little bit of, you know, give them some Easter eggs, give them some extra stuff. But yeah, what would happen is, you know, when I would do the top 25 videos of Noah Antwiler, for the longest time I was trying to do it all in one video, and there eventually came a point when I decided to split it up into 2 different parts, and that gave me plenty of time to talk about all the details of the boring stuff. Otherwise, before, I was trying to balance the boring talk about, you know, editing your audio, editing your video, blah blah blah. I was trying to mix that in with having, you know, scene specific stuff pop up. And it didn't quite, I don't know if it really, but I tried to do a balance of, you know, the really dry, you know, talking about technical aspects, and then I would try to mention like, oh, well, this is that moment, you know, where I added that musical sting from The Who. You know, it wasn't originally in the, you know, in the original video. You know, I added that, and it's like, oh, that's cool, that's interesting. But so yeah, that I ended up splitting it up into 2 different ones. And what would end up happening too is that, you know, I would talk about certain topics in one audio commentary, and that would actually kind of directly reflect to the another audio commentary. You know, because, well, I also wouldn't be able to keep track of necessarily what I would talk about in the first one, so I would end up having to redo, you know, 2 of them. So that's what I ended up having to do for, like, especially these 2 side videos. You know, if I ended up having to throw out part of one of my audio commentaries because I thought it kind of dragged on a little bit, or maybe I talked about, sometimes I would talk about something that you guys didn't need to know about. Like I would talk about my personal life a little more, and it's like, you know, you guys don't care. Like I don't need to bore you with that kind of, you know, detail or whatnot. So I would cut it out. You know, there's just certain stuff that, you know, I might find it interesting, but you know, I didn't need to take up your time with it. So that's why I would end up, you know, redoing all the audio commentaries, at least at first, is because it would actually be kind of hard for me to remember, like, okay, well, wait a minute. Did I talk about, you know, how the top 4 Counter Monkey episodes started off, and then that became the top 5. You know, I would try to remember exactly what details I talked about in one audio commentary versus the other one. So that's why I would end up throwing them out.
After this meeting, Spoony's character ends up getting jumped outside, even though it's meant to be on neutral ground.
But yeah, so what started off as actually a rather quick top 4 Counter Monkey episode list, you know, done in the style of a honorable mention segment, you know, squeezed in. I was going to squeeze this in just before entry number 1. You know, like, before we get to number 1, here's the top 4 Counter Monkey episodes. Let's go! And then I would take, like, 4 minutes to, you know, go through each of those. But now it has blossomed into its own separate 46-minute video. You know, is it too much? I don't know. Tell me in the comments below. But for this particular video, Cross Dissolve was my friend, because the whole video is all of these Counter Monkey episodes, they're all a single camera setup done as a one-shot. You know, there's no outside footage to cut to. It's just Spoony in front of a camera for one single take. You know, if he doesn't have his thoughts organized very well, you know, then he kind of bounces around a little bit. If there's a certain way that he wants to describe something, he might stumble over himself a little bit and try to get to that point. You know, so that's the Cross Dissolve right there. You know, so that's you know, like when you have a single camera shot, like, how do you edit something like this? And it's like, well, there's 2 different ways of doing it, you know, unless you want to cut to other footage every time I change shots, you know, which would be hard because it's like, well, I would need to gather up screenshots of D&D books, maybe, or the different modules that were similar to what he was talking about. But that would add, you know, probably a week of extra work. You know, every time I want to cut from one, you know, angle of Spoony talking here to another angle, I would have to put something in between. You know, whether I would have like the Invictus. Maybe I would have a picture of the most popular Invictus, you know, in front of you while he's talking. And then, you know, I would, you know, stop that footage as I would, you know, cut to another version of him. You know, that's how you would normally do it. That's why a lot of times when you see people do interviews, you know, professional interviews like Barbara Walters or Walter Cronkite or yeah, that obviously the music sting is mine and the push in on the video is mine. It was just to make it interesting, you know, make it a little bit more cinematic. Like that's a Cross Dissolve right there too. So it's basically just blending the 2 images. You know, you're dissolving one image into another. And you'll notice it's like, well, yeah, when you have a professional interview, you know, you have at least a 2 camera setup on the individual himself, and then you have another camera that is on the interviewee. And then that way that gives you coverage, you know, like if your interviewer, you know, stumbles his words or it takes him almost a minute to finally get to answering your question, you don't want to show that on camera. So, you know, instead of doing a dissolve like that, which, you know, normally you wouldn't see that in professional newscast kind of video, you know, you would cut to a different angle. And then that way, you know, you could basically hide the edits by cutting to another camera angle or by, you know, cutting to, you know, what they call B-roll footage, you know, like footage of waterfalls or something else. In this case, it would have to be other D&D campaigns. But yeah, I just did a Cross Dissolve. You know, that is the next more professional step that you can take, because in editing, you don't ever want to cut from one shot to another from the exact same camera angle. It makes it look like the character jumps to a different position. So like what you see me doing here, if I would take out the cross dissolve, it would just be, Spoony would all of a sudden appear, slightly in a different position. And you don't do that. Angry Joe, it's rather jarring, really, to the audience. Angry Joe would do this a lot in his older videos. He would edit his video footage like he would like an audio file, and then you would just get the highlights of what he wanted you to hear. But like his character would, him physically on camera would jump around from one shot to the next, and it drove me nuts. And he still kind of does it today. He doesn't do a cross dissolve. And it's kind of annoying. It's like, yeah, cut to something else, because it kind of, it's unprofessional. But then, Angry Joe has 3 million subscribers. Who am I to say anything to him?
I knew he wasn't gonna, like, who would do that? He's like, I know.
But yeah, this is what you usually would do to conduct an interview with at least, 2 different camera angles on your subject, so you can cut to a closer shot to emphasize something or to keep things interesting by switching angles. But I used a cross dissolve to blend the 2 shots into one. It's a simple trick, and it obviously, it lets the audience know that there's a passage of time, of course, when you do it, but it is one of the professional ways of doing it when you can't trim the shot by cutting to another angle or another camera. It works well here. You can tell when I use it, but ultimately, like, if Spoony is kind of standing in the same spot, sometimes it kind of, it goes, you hear the audio and you kind of think that is how, he talks. I kind of liked having the little additions in between. That's how I did it in the top 25 videos of Noah Antwiler. That was one thing I didn't get to. I did actually plan on having like a little joke or something, because I started to do that with a few segments. But then it came to a point when it was actually kind of hard, because if I was trying to find a quick little joke that would sometimes work for some of the entries I was talking about, but sometimes it wouldn't work. So, then I would end up having to, show like a 20-second clip of something to try to, show something humorous on it. And sometimes I ended up having to trim those down. So I didn't always get to end a entry with a funny moment from Spoony, even though I was kind of trying to do that, and I found a couple that worked really well. Some of those I ended up having to cut out. And here, I tried to keep everything in line with Counter Monkey episodes. Like all the footage, because I had been going through the Counter Monkey episodes, I say at least 3 times, but quite easily I probably watched a lot of these 4 or 5 times. And obviously the ones that ended up getting featured, I watched, even more. But, like I knew about like little funny moments here and there, in an hour-long video, and it's like, oh, I could use that somehow. So I cut some of those out, and that's what you end up seeing here. But yeah, this style of editing here was a bit different than the last videos. I still have my narration, but I mix it in with equal parts of Spoony explaining specific moments. I am I'm trying to look. I think, is that it? I think we got to the end of our pre-subscribed entries. No, I talked about that. Okay. All right. I told you we were going to have some time for some uncircumcised dialogue. Why do I keep using that word? Unscripted. Not that it's all I have, topics, and I have a few notes on things. It's not like you can, word for word write out a script for an audio commentary. That kind of defeats the purpose, I always thought. I'm just looking over my topics, but I think we are there. So how are you guys doing? I'm doing great. In audio commentary number 2 for the top 25 videos of Noah Antwiler, you will find out that I ended up buying a capture card. I got a micro SD card for it as well, so I can record right to a micro SD card. I got myself NVIDIA Shield Pro for myself for Christmas in 2021.
I'm not fucking with you.
I haven't really dove into it yet. I got it at the end. I think I said before, I am not sure because I have recorded these audio commentaries, you know, some of them 6 times. So I can't remember where I said what. But I did get, in December, I got my NVIDIA Shield Pro. And but I didn't plug it in until I got done with the top 25 videos of Noah Antwiler. Like, I wanted to get that video done. I didn't want to, you know, jump into a new piece of tech. And I eventually did open it up, and I went into it, and I bought some of the recommended emulators, like for the PlayStation and the Dreamcast. There were some that, you know, they cost a little money, you know, for the better version of the emulator. And I fully believe in you know, giving someone a little bit of money, you know, $5 or $6. I mean, sure, you know, that they spent countless hours, you know, coding an emulator for the Saturn, you know, or PlayStation, and it's like, yeah, you know, I'll kick a few dollars your way. So I bought a few of them. I basically just signed into like YouTube and not Netflix. I don't have Netflix at the moment, but like my Disney Plus and my other services, I signed into all of those. But I didn't do too much more because I was still working on the other these 2 side videos. So, but now, yeah, now I got a capture card. You know, I also got myself an extra 2 terabyte hard drive. So that's gonna have you know, I'm gonna fill that thing up with ROMs so I can play a wide variety of different games and record footage from them on my Shield Pro. You know, that is, you know, my goal. You know, so yeah, I'm going to be spending some time getting emulators and ROMs put on it so I can record video for a wide assortment of games. You know, it will take some time before you start to see the results of this. I got I mean, these audio commentaries are going to start coming out in May. You might not necessarily hear this one, but I got Zombie Awareness Month this May, so I need to find a game for that and figure out what type of video that's going to be. Then I need to record a new song intro for the Rage Quit 2. I also have several episodes already in the editing process for Rage Quit 2. I mean, seriously, I recorded them, I synced up the video and audio, and I had already spent a few months editing them, you know, here and there when I had time, until I ended up switching everything over into making the Spoony videos. So I've got like, it's like 5 or 6, you know, videos that, you know, I might need to cut a few minutes on each of them. You know, some of them are a little bit long, like some might be 16 or 18 minutes, and I need to really cut them down to, you know, more like 10 or 12 minutes. So it's going to take several passes, but you know, I do have a small number of them that are close to being done. I might release one of them with the old intro, just because a lot of people have not probably even seen what the old intro is. I kind of like that one. And then I'll debut the new intro on the next one. So, yeah, it might be a little bit of time before you start seeing me having footage recorded off of my Shield Pro. But hopefully it will add some... it will add a bit of variety, you know, since I can now basically play, you know, any PlayStation 1 game, you know, regardless of whether or not, you know, I have the physical game in front of me. Recording off an emulator, you know, gives you a variety of options. For one thing, you got save states, so it helps you through the process of playing the game. You know, I don't mind telling people, like, okay, this part is going to be really, really hard, you know, and yes, in the background, secretly, I am using save states, but that's because I don't have the time to really, you know, spend 20 hours, you know, trying to legitimately beat a game, something like, you know, Battletoads, let's say. I mean, you know, you can get Battletoads done and you can beat it, but you have to, you know, replay it over and over and over. And obviously, you know, save states is more of a tool to let you kind of know, or to kind of help you, you know, get through a game like that. in a timely manner, and instead of, I don't need to spend a month long, trying to beat a really, really hard game like Battletoads if I were to, do a review on that. But the other benefit to using an emulator, of course, is on games like PlayStation 1 and Saturn, I can actually up the resolution. So I can actually, double or even triple the resolution so that you can actually see the game a lot clearer than you ever would on actual PlayStation hardware. So that's kind of the point too, is that I can actually make the game look smoother and run better with a better frame rate, than it would normally. So that's kind of the idea behind, using emulation for a lot of this stuff. And plus, you guys know about retro prices. Some of these, a lot of this stuff is through the roof. You used to could buy, a lot of different consoles for like 50, 60 bucks. A 3DO, sure. I mean, for a 3DO, you used to could buy a box of someone's 3DO and his entire game collection for like 70 or 80. I had done that before. But now it's like everybody wants nearly $100 for their console because it's all rare and it's all, collectible item now. So it's like you can't even get yourself a Sega Saturn for under maybe 200. Like it's a working Saturn. It's kind of insane. So it's like, yeah, like even though you might be one of those people that like, oh, nothing but the real hardware on real software kind of thing. And it's like, but man, you're talking about like there's certain games I'd like to cover that are the games themselves are like $200 to $300. And it's just not practical to buy those, nowadays. That's a lot of money, especially for me, a small time YouTuber that, I maybe got like maybe $30 a month coming in, on my ads, which, it's not bad. And I'm totally humble. I really appreciate the fact that I'm able to even do that. But it takes me a little while to build up, it takes me several months to build up $100. And in fact, it's been about 3 or 4 months since I started, and I haven't gotten a payout yet because it hasn't reached the threshold of $100. So, but at least I can, I can get myself a capture card or, something that's $100. It takes me a few months to build up some money for that. But I'm just looking.
He's like, can I make a spell that causes smoke, like obscuring mist almost? And so
I understand that having, this variety of footage will be nice, but it is not the reason why people aren't necessarily finding my channel. I have plenty of games that I have bought on my Xbox One and my PlayStation 4, to play and record footage from. Angry Joe basically started his career on the most popular platform back in the day, the Xbox 360. And then he got an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4 when the next gen came around. So yeah, he did some PC games as well, but for the most part, a lot of everything that he was capturing was on an Xbox 360. And it was just him, other Joe wasn't necessarily in there. Not the whole time. But being on camera will probably be the next big step. I'm working on that. But that will take, some time. I'm going to need to find some additional work, and I need to work a job. I need to be working at a job more, and hopefully I can find myself even a new place to live, so that way I got some more room to actually do some of these things that I have planned. But yeah, this video is pretty long, isn't it? It's it is what it is. Oh, that's the stuff. Oh my gosh! Now I know why people love cocaine so much. If cocaine is even half as good as having an energy drink with so much sugar and caffeine, then I mean, I'm not surprised that cocaine doesn't fly off the shelves. Because that's how people get cocaine, right? It's on the shelves.
I'm like, roll again, because in 3rd edition you have to confirm your crit.
Well, we're not quite at the little doggy part, are we? We can't talk about that. Or can I talk about it before we get to it? We can talk about it before. you know, so the ending was something that I put together. I originally wanted to have like a little, I was going to use some of the characters from my, what do you call it? From my end credit sequence. I was going to have some additional characters, you know, pop up on screen, and I was going to do freeze frame, you know, things to some music. And I'm like, well, but this is the Counter Monkey episode, right? That's going to feel kind of out of place. But it's like, well, but I wanted to have, you know, I wanted to have Oreo, the dog, in there. And I wanted to have Burton. You know, I wanted to have, like, some key, you know, little characters that were just, you know, like Spoony's characters, like maybe Spencer D. Bum. You know, I was just going to have some of those guys. And it's like, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to have, like, 3 freeze frames done in the same way that you did those other ones? I mean, you already did that, right? So I kept thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, you know, I was going to have the GD avatar and the Lord of Tekken version of Spoony. You know, I was going to have those different versions in there, and it's like, well, what music am I going to use? You know, it's going to feel a little out of place. And eventually I started to boil it down like, well, I had this piece of footage of Oreo that I really, really liked. It was him playing with Oreo, and it worked really well, and I was thinking, well, what if I just do one freeze frame with Oreo and maybe I make it like a little tribute, you know, and I just do it. It's like a quick little thing. And my mind instantly went to like a tribute. Well, what do I do? And it's like, well, I can use the Wiz Khalifa song, you know what? See You Again. And because I thought, like, that's, you know, it's a bit overused. Yeah. But, you know, for when it comes to a pet, it works. You know, it's not like a Boys to Men, you know, song that is kind of inappropriate for a dog, you know, or it's not like a love song. And it's like, sometimes those can work with pets. But, you know, I like the Wiz Khalifa song. It was just going to be this quick little thing, right? Like maybe a minute long. And I would do it when the music is nice and soft. I would basically end up stopping it before the music would pick up, you know, speed or whatnot, because that would basically mean a completely different, you know, editing style then. I'd have to do like a lot more fast images. So I was just going to have this little simple thing on the soft version of the music, and I was trying to think, a tribute. Well, what can I do? Like, oh, I can take the moment from Star Trek 2, you know, where Kirk is talking about, you know, out of all the souls I have encountered, you know, his was the most human. Like, that instantly popped into my mind. You know, as far as, you know, tender, sweet moments in science fiction in general. So I used a little bit of that footage, and then I started to, you know, kind of think about extending the moment, and I'm like, well, I could make it look like I end up, you know, putting little Oreo in the torpedo tube and launching him into the Genesis planet. So, like, I literally, on the timeline, I had that footage set aside. You know, it was off to the right, and it was like, I just don't have time. You know, the little segment is so short that what am I gonna do? You know, like, because at the end I was gonna freeze frame on him, right? You know, it's like I can't fire the little doggy out into space to the Genesis planet and then cut back to him. So I'm like, well, I really can't do that. So I basically set that aside, and I ended up doing, you know, just what you see here. And I added this kind of goofy music in the background, and I had all these weird moments. There's that's the April Fool's episode where Spoony is, you know, he's almost being the most meta of Spoony. There's Spoony schooling us on how you need to throw the dice with feeling. You can't just drop it on the table. You know, and I'm like, this was just Counter Monkey stuff, and I thought, okay, well, let me do this then for the Counter Monkey. Because we had some of these that were kind of funny. And obviously, you know, I'm showing exactly where all these come from.
And I'm gonna distract Oreo for a while with these.
But yeah, so that's where the original idea for the Oreo thing came from. You know, I wanted to add more. I wanted to have it be a longer little sequence, but it's like I just wanted some short little thing, and I needed to get this video done and out. So that's what I did. And then later, I don't know if it was nearly just the next day, but I eventually decided that I would add a, you know, I would make an extended version of the Oreo Antwiler, you know, tribute, and I would make that its own video. Because, you know, what's the worst thing you can do is, you know, make a 46-minute video and have this one really cool and sweet moment that's a minute long, you know, for 43 minutes into the video that nobody else is really going to see. So that's why I made it a separate little video. And I double checked those dates, because he actually does show up at the end of 2011, and there's no way that he would have been older than 7 or 8 months. So I'm pretty solid in the fact that he was probably born in 2011. And this worked really nice. I mean, seriously, it even made me, you know, tear up a little bit. You know, he looks into camera. That's when I do the freeze frame. You know, shake your little ear, bow to the audience, fade to black, and then there you go. Like, I mean, that it's so sweet and it's so nice. It works so well. And I thought, you know, yeah, that really, you know, that works really well. And then I decided to expand it, and then, you know, we have all the little characters bouncing up and down on screen, which I still love that too. That's one of my favorite moments. You know, and it's all for somebody else's dog. It's not my dog. You know, it's Spoony's dog. But it's like, you know, stop making dumb jokes. I did change up the background on that. I tried to make every single video have a different background joke. I think one of them was something like, stop writing these. No one reads. No one goes to the community tab anyway. But yeah, the Wiz Khalifa music at the end got the video claimed. I could have had monetization if I would have left it out, but I wanted to honor all Oreo. So it's like, you know, that's what YouTube is like. I mean, seriously, I mean, well, it's a minute long, right? It's at least 40 seconds of the music. And it's like, that's all it takes. You know, your video gets claimed, you cannot monetize it. You know, that's it. You know, you're done. All the hard work you put into this video, you cannot earn any kind of money on it. But I don't mind doing it because, you know, clearly I don't get that many. If I was getting 20,000 views per video, then yeah, I probably would be a little bit more diligent in trying to make sure that I didn't use, you know, copyrighted music that would get claimed. But, you know, honestly, I don't mind putting copyrighted music in if it kind of fits the persona, and, you know, if it entices people to keep watching my content. But hey, this was a lot of fun. I think I made a joke about me saying that I probably say that in every audio commentary, but it's true. It was a lot of fun. I think I have said before that I never probably will 100% leave YouTube. I like creating stuff, you know, too much, but the next big thing is to be able to get on camera, and I'm working on that. There's 2 more audio commentaries coming, and I appreciate all the watch time that you've given me so far. This is the last audio commentary that I am recording, though, so this is the final one. So I do want to say one final thanks for watching these videos and everything else. But yes, the after the 4 audio commentaries are out, that should be it for Spoony content. So yeah, you're looking at 11 videos total in the playlist when it comes to Spoony. You know, so once all those are out, that should do it. So you'll have all the content is out, and then, you know, a year from now, we will see. I don't have anything planned. I don't plan on really necessarily doing another project, especially necessarily on Spoony. But you know what? If a year from now I end up seeing, you know, 200,000 views maybe on one of these videos, who knows? You know, who knows? You know, if the audience is there, I really don't mind making a follow-up in some kind of way. But hey, stay healthy. Why did I say stay healthy? I don't need to have a catchphrase for an audio commentary. Just tell them you'll see them on the next audio commentary and shut up. Like, okay, so this is Stryker of Enyo saying, thanks for watching or listening, and I guess we'll see you on the next audio commentary. Take it easy.
Okay, few things. One, you cannot call it a nacho anything if it doesn't have cheese. By definition, it's not nachos if there's no cheese. Two, it's not nachos if there's mayonnaise. It's wrong! It's disgusting.